Sword of Goujian, buried for over 2 millennia, untouched by rust or decay, the Sword of Goujian is one of history's greatest mysteries. Discovered in 1965 in a tomb in China's Hubei province, this bronze blade dates back more than 2,000 years, yet its edges still gleam as if freshly forged. Historians believe it belonged to King Goujian of Yue, a ruler whose patience and vengeance became the thing of legend. The sword isn't just a weapon, it's a message in metal. Its surface bears intricate inscriptions written in ancient script, declaring its royal ownership. Despite being buried in damp soil, its near-perfect preservation defied all expectations. Tests revealed the blade's composition was so advanced, it resisted oxidation long before stainless steel existed. In legend, the Sword of Goujian symbolized the spirit of endurance. Goujian was said to have suffered defeat, served his enemy in disguise, and waited years to reclaim his throne. His sword became a symbol of that quiet, unstoppable resolve, a promise that no matter how long it sleeps, true power never fades. Shamshir-e Zomorrodnegar. From the Persian epics comes a weapon said to shimmer with the light of emeralds and the wrath of kings, the Shamshir-e Zomorrodnegar, the Sword of Emeralds. Legends place it in the hands of the mythical hero King Solomon, though some tales claim it later found its way to Prince Thamurus or Rustam, the great warrior of the Shahnameh. According to Persian mythology, the sword was forged to end a curse that plagued humanity. Its blade was said to hold emeralds so pure they could blind demons, and when raised in battle, it carried the divine command of Solomon himself. No ordinary enemy could withstand it. Even the monstrous demon Fuladzere, whose body was immune to all weapons, was struck down only by this blade. More than a weapon, the Shamshir-e Zomorrodnegar was a covenant between the divine and the mortal world. It represented order over chaos, wisdom over arrogance, and light over corruption. For centuries, Persian storytellers described it not just as a sword of victory, but as proof that faith and purity of heart could wield power greater than any spell. Ame-no-Habakiri. In the chronicles of Japanese mythology, few weapons carry the same divine reverence as Ame-no-Habakiri, the sword of the heavenly serpent slayer. This legendary blade was wielded by the storm god Susanoo, a deity known for his defiance and unrelenting courage. According to the Kojiki, Susanoo discovered a grieving family whose daughters had been devoured one by the monstrous Yamata no Orochi, an 8-headed serpent so vast it stretched across valleys. Taking pity, Susanoo devised a plan. He lured the beast with 8 vats of sacred sake, waited for it to fall into a drunken sleep, and struck. When the serpent fell, Susanoo split open its tails, and within one of them, he found a blade gleaming with divine light. That sword was Ame-no-Habakiri, later presented to the heavens as a symbol of redemption and divine balance. It wasn't merely a weapon, it was proof that even the storm, a force of chaos itself, could bring order when guided by purpose. In Japanese lore, Ame-no-Habakiri remains a sacred emblem of divine justice and the courage to confront monstrosity, no matter how overwhelming the odds. Gram. In Norse legend, Gram is not merely a sword, it is destiny forged in steel. Once wielded by the hero Sigurd, the dragon slayer Gram was said to have been reforged from the shattered sword of his father Sigmund. Its edge was so sharp that it could cleave an anvil in half with a single swing. The story of Gram is entwined with vengeance, prophecy, and divine design. When the god Odin thrust the original blade into a tree trunk, only Sigmund could pull it free, marking him as the chosen warrior. But fate is cruel. Betrayal shattered the sword, and it would be generations before Sigurd, his son, claimed it again, reforged it, and fulfilled the prophecy by slaying the dragon Fafnir, whose hoarded gold carried a deadly curse. Yet victory came with a price. The dragon's dying breath warned Sigurd that his fate, like all who sought power, would end in blood. Gram became a symbol of the tragic cycle that defines Norse mythology. The idea that every triumph carves the path to ruin. Even in glory, its blade whispered of inevitable downfall. Gae Bolg. From the Celtic epics of ancient Ireland comes one of the deadliest weapons ever imagined. The Gae Bolg, the spear of the hero Cu-Chulainn. Unlike ordinary weapons, this one was alive with tragedy, technique, and terror. Forged from the bones of a sea monster, the Gae Bolg was a gift from Cu-Chulain's mentor, the warrior woman Skathash. But it was not merely meant to kill, it was meant to end battles instantly. Once the spear pierced flesh, its barbed points would blossom outward like a thorned flower, shredding everything in its path. To remove it, the wielder had to cut the victim apart. It was said that Cu-Chulainn could launch it with his foot, propelling it with supernatural precision. Each time it was used, the Gae Bolg demanded a price, the life of the wielder's opponent, and a piece of the hero's own humanity. In Celtic myth, it represents the inescapable weight of destiny, a weapon that blurs the line between skill and curse. For Cuchulainn, mastery of the spear didn't grant freedom. It sealed his fate as a warrior, bound to violence and sorrow. Vajra. In the sacred texts of Hindu and Buddhist tradition, few weapons command the same reverence as the Vajra, the thunderbolt of the gods. To mortals, it was lightning incarnate. To the heavens, it was the instrument of divine order. The Vajra was wielded by Indra, king of the Devas, a warrior deity whose power maintained balance across the cosmos. When the demon Vritra, a colossal serpent, stole the world's waters and plunged creation into drought, Indra struck him down with the Vajra. The moment it was hurled, thunder shook the sky and rivers roared back to life. But the Vajra is more than a weapon. It is a philosophical symbol. Its name means both diamond and thunderbolt, representing two opposing truths, unbreakable strength and transcendent clarity. In Buddhist thought, the Vajra embodies the indestructible nature of enlightenment, cutting through illusion, the way lightning cuts through darkness. Across centuries, its form evolved from celestial weapon to ritual object, yet its meaning remained. The Vajra stands as a reminder that true power is not found in destruction, but in the unshakable stillness behind it. Gungnir. In the vast realm of Norse mythology, Gungnir stands as the ultimate weapon of precision and authority, the spear of Odin, all-father of the gods forged by the master smiths, known as the dwarves. It was said to be perfectly balanced, impossible to deflect, and incapable of missing its mark. Gungnir was not just a symbol of war, it was a tool of cosmic governance. With it, Odin declared oaths, sealed fates, and began battles that shaped the destiny of gods and men alike. When he hurled Gungnir, the world itself seemed to pause, for whatever it struck was bound to fate's design. The spear's flight was law. It always hit its target, but more importantly, it always hit with purpose. In some tales, Odin marked the beginning of the Great War Ragnarok by casting Gungnir over the armies of the gods and giants, consecrating the final battle. The weapon thus became the embodiment of inevitability, a reminder that even gods must answer to the destiny they create. To hold Gungnir was to hold order itself. It was the will of Odin made real, a weapon that never wavered, just as fate never does. Thunderbolt of Zeus. At the peak of the divine hierarchy stands the weapon that defines absolute power, the Thunderbolt of Zeus. In Greek mythology, it is not merely a symbol of dominance, it is the very embodiment of divine wrath and justice. Forged by the Cyclopes in the depths of Mount Etna, the Thunderbolt was born from raw energy, molded by the hands of beings who once crafted weapons for the gods themselves. When Zeus led the Olympians in the Great War against the Titans, it was the Thunderbolt that turned the tide. With a single strike, he split the sky, shattered mountains, and burned away rebellion. Every flash of lightning across the heavens was said to be his warning, a reminder that the world remained under his command. Unlike other divine weapons, the Thunderbolt was not forged for conquest, but for balance. It punished hubris, restored order, and enforced the rule of Olympus. In myth, no one could resist it. Not mortal, not god, not fate itself. The Thunderbolt of Zeus stands as the final word of power, the weapon that ends all questions, leaving only silence and awe in its wake.